Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about the growth hormone receptor and the mechanism of its activation. So first of all, let me tell you that actually the growth hormone receptor, it belongs to the class 1 cytokine receptor family. Now, what is this family? This family have almost more than equal or more than 30 receptors. And these receptors, it includes prolactin receptor, erythropoietin receptors, and along with this, the IL-3, which is called interleukin 3, interleukin 6, and interleukin 7 receptors, they are present. Now, these cytokine receptor family, they actually lack the intrinsic protein tyrosine kinase factors. So actually, they rely on binding with the non-receptors PTKs, for example, for their signal transduction. This is important one. Now, if we talk about the growth hormone receptor, actually it is it has 638 amino acids, and it have a very long homodimeric receptors, and it consists of the extracellular domain and then the transmembrane domain, which is present in the plasma membrane, and along with this we have the intracellular domain. Now if we see to this extracellular domain, we have the conserved cysteines, conserved, which are present. Then we have also the fibronectin type 3 domain. And then we have the transmembrane domain, which is present in the cell membrane. Now, if we talk about the intracellular domain, we have JAK family attached to the box 1, and to the box 2 we will have some acidic aromatic residues, which I will explain it later. They will be attached to it. So this one is the box 1, where JAK family will be attached, and in the box 2 there will be some acidic residues which will be attached here. Now let's talk about the JAK. We generally call it genus kinase. Told that it is a JAK family, so it have different types like J1, J2, and J3. Now listen here, that in case of the growth hormone receptor, JAK2 will be attached here. There will be no JAK1, there will be no JAK3. JAK2 will be attached here. It is a big family, so here JAK2 is doing the role. Now, if I talk about that, what is this JAK molecule? So let's come to this diagram. The JAK, it consists of firm domain, which is this mentioned in this green color, and also it have SH2 domain. And along with this, with the box 2, which I told, these acidic residues are present here. Now, what does firm means? It is azurine, rhodexine, and myosin. What does actually this SH2 and this firm domains do? Why it is so much important that I mentioned? Actually, when if there will be no any of them, there will be no any domain here. For example, if there is no SH2 or there is no firm, so what will happen? It will don't do the binding of different receptors. For example, state. This state comes and it binds here, or another things, it just do the binding role here. If any of them will not be present, it means that the JAK cannot do binding. So, and also some other PTKs as well. Now let's talk here. This is the extracellular domain. This is the cell membrane or transmembrane domain. What is this? Transmembrane domain. And here this one is the intracellular domain. Now what will happen? When the growth hormone, it will come and it will attach to the extracellular domain. So what things will actually happen? When the growth hormone, it will binds to the extracellular domain, it will result in the confrontational changes here. And this confrontation changes, it will, what will happen, this transmembrane domain, if you are looking here, first it will do, look the difference, there will be some structural changes which will occur. So the parallelness, it will go a little like this, and if we will go to the transmembrane domain, so it will actually completely the, it will do the crossover interaction, and this parallelness, it will be gone. Now when it happens that the parallelness, it becomes gone, and there becomes interaction, there occurs a crossover. So what will happen? This jack, it will become, these domains, they will become closer to each other. When they will become closer to each other, then what will happen? Then it will be activated for the phosphorylation. So now if we move to this part of our diagram, so look, first as we told that the growth hormone came and it activated this complex, and there comes structural changes. So now what will happen? The state will come in. What is state? So here I have even mentioned that the state, it is the signal transducing and transcriptional factor. What does it mean? What does state do? State, actually it is the factor which will go and it will do the signaling, and it will also do that, it will also send the message for the transcription inside the nucleus. Now, so when it will be activated, this jack, it will do the phosphorylation of this tyrosine. It will do what? The phosphorylation of the tyrosine. Look, here phosphate, before here there was no phosphate, but now phosphorylation occurs and these phosphates groups are they came. Now first look here to this step, second step. First happened the phosphorylation of the tyrosine. In the second step, what will happen? That this state, actually it have types: state 1, state 3, and state 5. So what actually happens, that these are firstly inactive, but what will happen when the phosphorylation will occur? This inactive site, it will bind with the phosphate tyronase, and what will happen, there will be also the phosphorylation of these molecules. It means they will have now phosphate group attached. Now remember here that the state 5, it binds to state 5 only, while the state 3, it can even bind with itself, and it can even bind to the state 1, and the state, and here it's another state 1 which is binding only to each other. Now what will happen here? If we see, it was in inactive form, it was in inactive form. Now if it was in inactive form, so what happens, that the phosphorus or the phosphate, it attaches to this state 3, state 1, and state 5. So what actually happens when it attaches to the state 3, state 5, this part now becomes activated. What happens? This part also become activated. So now when this part actually activates, so now what will happen? This state 3, state 5, it will go down and it will come inside the nucleus. Remember, this one is the extracellular part outside the cell. Then this part, it was the transmembrane domain, means it was the part where we have cell membrane or plasma membrane, and this was the cytosol. It is the intracellular, but it was what? It was just the cytosol of the cell. Now when this will be activated, so this was the intracellular part, which is the cytosol, but not nucleus. So what happens actually, and this is now the nucleus. So what happens when this part will become activated, when the phosphates will attach, so it will come down to the nucleus, and this will attach to the DNA. It will attach to the DNA, and then it will do the transcription process, and they will make the proteins. So this was our lecture about the receptor and how and the mechanism of the activation. In the next part, we will discuss about how the growth hormone it is released, which factors are responsible for the releasement of the growth hormone, and along with this we will also explain about the function of growth hormone on different organs in our body. Thank you so much.